Welcome, everyone, to Dorian Destinations Podcast. I am Franco.
I'm Shannon.
And welcome to your friendly neighborhood travel advisor podcast. Remember, we are not travel influencers. We are travel advisors, which means everything we talk about today, you can book with us. You know what we're talking about today?
Yes, we went the first week of summer. We headed up to Georgia, and we did some really nice things with the kids. And we had like a boys trip, we had a girls trip, and then we all came back together and we hung out with our besties.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty cool trip. You know, it was a good mix of boy trip with girl trip and then family trip.
Yeah.
Right? That was pretty good. So what we're going to talk about today is, because of this trip that we took, we thought it would be interesting to kind of just focus on Northern Georgia today, right? So we're going to talk about a fact or fiction, truths or myths about Northern Georgia. Pretty much spirit tasting, since we're not actually drinking today. We're going to talk about spirits as a whole, which we found two great places there in Northern Georgia called Old No Beverage Company and Moonrise Distilleries. Phenomenal.
They both make all of their drinks, their alcohol.
Yeah, that's what a distillery is. Yeah. We're going to talk about horseback adventures in Northern Georgia at Southern Cross
Cross Ranch.
And then the boys obviously took it upon ourselves to hike the Appalachian Trail. So, and we also hung out at Helen, Georgia as well.
Helen, Georgia. Yeah. And we stayed in Mountain City, which is where these distilleries that we were talking about are.
Yeah, so that's our show today. So let's get cranking, shall we?
Let's get cranking.
All right. So our first segment, it's fact or fiction about Northern Georgia. It's a Northern Georgian edition. If you hear construction in the back, it's because we're expanding as a franchise.
Like just building a gazebo for a barbecue.
Yeah.
He wants to sound cooler, and then it was like,
Shannon, you're killing my vibe. You're killing my vibe. I'm trying to woo our viewers, which, by the way, we have 500 viewers now, subscribers. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, so fact or fiction, Northern Georgia edition, right? You can't look at it because I need to like testing, right?
But why would I know these?
Fact or fiction, the Appalachian Trail begins in Vermont.
That I know is completely false.
That's right, because that was actually a stupid one, because we did start it. We didn't start it at the starting line, but it does start in Georgia.
It does start in Georgia, and just so you know, it goes all the way to Maine. And if you were to hike it by foot, it would take you approximately 6 months to complete.
That's very true. That's very true. It does begin, though, in Springer Mountain in Georgia, in Northern Georgia.
How far south is that from where we were?
I'll get back to you on that. I didn't research that part, but it is in Northern Georgia, hence why it's in this episode. The second fact or fiction, are you ready for this? Helen, Georgia was modeled after a Bavarian village to attract tourism.
That is true. It is. It's very, how would you say, very German architecture. It looks like you're like in a little city in Europe. I
thought it was cute. I mean, it's borderline like Disney.
Yeah, it looks. You're in the middle of the country, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're looking at these
bratwurst. You could eat bratwurst there. It's like very German, yeah.
It's very German, but it's cute. It's a cute, little catchy city. It actually is not as little. I should say it's not as little. It's cute, and they have a lot of fun things to do there. Is that part of our notes, or should I get into that?
No, you're doing fantastic without notes, which is, I think you're catching on.
So. They have tubing there, which we did, which is a lot of fun. Yeah. And then they have a lot of these restaurants like overlooking where the creeks are and stuff. And they have wasp.
Yes, which I got bit by a wasp. I'm still kind of recuperating from that situation. I thought I was going to lose my hands. Mm-hmm. But besides that, everything is kosher. They did make Helen, and they transformed it in 1969 just to attract tourism, because it was like a mining town at some point, or not mining. Well, mining, yes, because there was like a semi-gold rush in the late 1800s, And then obviously that economy just died and fizzled out. So in 1969, they actually created or revamped Helen to have this German look and feel. So I'm sure they were having a good time in the summer of 69 and decided, hey, why not turn this into a German town?
Maybe they were eating the shrooms from the town and envisioned
Germany.
And boom.
Who knows? So the next one, here you go. You can't legally buy moonshine in Georgia. Fact or fiction?
I didn't look at my notes, but I'm going to say that legally, no, I don't think you can. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
You're wrong.
You can.
You can. Legal distilleries, actually, like Old No and Moonrise, operate under a license, so you can purchase moonshine legally.
So question, is it everywhere or only specific people?
I think you need to have a license.
Just for moonshine. I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
It's a little...
like absinthe.
Well, we had absinthe, actually, in Old No. But again, and it's funny because I did ask him, am I going to see a green fairy? And
what are you talking about?
Because that absinthe is known like
hallucinogenic?
You hallucinate so bad that you see a green fairy.
I've never heard that.
I heard that several times. And basically he said, no, that's all myth. That basically, you see like a little haze if you drink enough of it, but it's not anything like, a fairy coming up to you and talking to you.
That doesn't appeal to me. What did it taste like? I wasn't with him when this happened.
It was phenomenal.
It tasted good?
It was a great drink.
No, I'm being serious.
It was with the concoction. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But with the concoction, it was a very good drink. It was. I didn't see a green fairy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw a white Cuban. Eddie.
No, he's Puerto Rican.
Oh, that's right. Well, it's the same thing. They stole their flag. But anyway, so now I'm playing. It's a joke. My Puerto Rican fans. Love you guys. Okay, so fact or fiction, northern Georgia is flat and lacks elevation, which is completely bogus.
No, that's a myth.
Yeah, so
where north you go, it's a lot more mountain.
That's where the Appalachian Mountains start. So actually, northern Georgia is really where you get a lot of elevation. You could hit up to 4,700 feet.
Wow.
In elevation.
Interesting.
That's not bad.
Did not know.
That's not bad. So there you go. Our fact or fiction for northern Georgia. Some little travel advisor tips, baby. You want to give them some travel advisor tips?
Allowed to look at my
You are allowed now to look at your notes. Yes. I'll start with the first one. The great for themed long weekends, hiking, spirits, and culture. That's exactly what we did. Highly recommend northern Georgia. I think it's a little hidden gem in the East Coast of the United States. Again, if you want to disconnect, have a little country feel, that's definitely a nice place.
So it says ideal for romantic getaways or family adventures. And I have to say, I concur. We live in Miami, so Georgia is about 8 hours north of us. It took us about 11 to get to where we needed to in North Georgia. But yeah, it's super cute. I think it's like a great family vacation, and it's a quick getaway from us in Florida because we're very flat and swampy here. Yeah,
very, very. And let me tell you something. While we were hiking, and this is June, right? We did this in June. Basically, it was like 60 degrees.
Good night.
It was amazing weather. So kudos to that. There is a little cool tour guides that you can add that has a lot of history. Again, there is a lot of history in northern Georgia. Some of it not so nice, but overall there's some great history there.
A lot of cute towns and a lot of antique stores. I loved it. Yeah,
which I'm going to be honest, northern Georgia, the people there are just phenomenal.
Everybody was very, very
great, nice, and southern hospitality to the max. And then what's great is that northern Georgia, many destinations are only 2 hours away from Atlanta, which is great. So if you have enough of your country bumpkin, you got vibes and you got that out of your system, you could just drive 2 hours south.
Which I did. I drove over 2 hours. I had a concert.
K-pop, baby.
I had a K-pop concert. So I left everybody in northern Georgia and drove my 2 hours to Atlanta. And then
we went from like Chris Stapleton to the Stray Kids, which is a great shift. You see, we're multicultural.
Surprisingly great concert.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Segment 1, guys, in the books. Fact or fiction. I think that was a great one. So here we go. Our second segment now is spirits or spirit of the week.
Am I reading this?
Yes, please follow. Let's do this.
All right. So the Old No and the Moonrise Distilleries. So Old No is in Mountain City, Georgia, and that's exactly where we stayed. And they have historic recipes, bitters, and botanical spirits that they all make there. And they have very limited hours. So really, they don't open till 4. And Mountain City, overall, I have to say, does close a little bit earlier. So around 8 or 9, they're kind of done.
Yeah, I think the latest that they had was on a Saturday. I think it was from 4 to 10.
Oh, okay.
But I think on Mondays and Tuesdays they were closed. And then Sundays it closed early. So it's really not a lot of hours.
No, but it's a great vibe. Yeah. It's very open. They have board games there. It's a great place to go and hang out and vibe with your friends. So I thought it was adorable. I love the decor, very dark and wooden.
Yeah, it was like almost borderline like a cool hipster vibe in the middle of Mountain City. I was like, this is amazing.
It's great.
The owners are phenomenal.
Very nice.
Very knowledgeable on what they do. I called the owner and I forgot the gentleman's name, but I called him a wizard because he basically pulled out. Well, he didn't pull it out, but he basically told me that he has a book from 1902.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he gave me a drink that's called like the root beer. I forgot the name of it, and I'll put it here somewhere. That it's inspired by that book that he found of recipes from 1902. So that's the attention to detail that mixologist and owner and distiller have over their drinks. And I'm honestly, I think we even purchased.
I bought they don't sell their actual like gin and vodka. They are in the process of getting there, but they do sell their spirits and all of their mixers that go inside the drinks to make them extra special. So I bought 3 different ones. It was a variety pack because I didn't have a bad drink there. And he went and I had gone at a separate time and we all kind of had something different and all of them were amazing.
Yeah, I think I found my new favorite poolside drink and it's called the Honey Badger. And it was so good.
It's bourbon, honey, but it's the mixer, which I bought is what makes it.
Which again, they make and it's phenomenal. So please, if you're in Mountain City, Georgia, pass by Old No Beverage Company. By the way, they did give me some inside information. They will expand to a collegey town in Georgia.
Oh, cute.
That I think they were going to do phenomenal there.
Really good.
Because the vibe that they have there is definitely like if I was a college student in Georgia, I would want to
hang out there.
Yeah, 100%. So Old No Beverage Company, please check them out when you're there in Mountain City.
So this place I liked because it is considered a speakeasy. It's not hidden, but it has that speakeasy vibe, and it's the Moonrise Distillery. When you walk in, and it is like a beautiful
New York.
Not like a New York vibe, but I felt like I was also in somebody's house.
Yeah.
So they have like almost 4 like little living room sitting areas with like fireplaces. Once again, it's like that dark feeling of that the paint and the wood. Their bar is stunning, and the owners also there were great. And I have to say, I like bourbon. I had bourbon that day because we were in Georgia, so you had to have it. And I also had a vodka drink, and we drank a lot.
I had a whiskey drink. I got a vodka drink. No, you know that song? Sorry.
No. And but I had a few drinks, and I felt amazing the next day. So to me, that the fact that they make their alcohol there, I felt great. I didn't feel icky like you would normally do having a couple of drinks. That's how great their alcohol is.
I'm glad you said that because I felt that in both places. You could tell that the way they distill their alcohol, it's very premium and it's very high end because when you drink it, you don't feel guilty at all, or your body doesn't. Or you might feel guilty, but your body doesn't hate you for it.
No, it was beautiful, and it was really nice. And same thing, it closes early. But what I loved about it is that you can definitely go there for like a pre-dinner, have your drink. Everybody in there, I mean, it was a little bit like Cheers. Even though it was very quiet, everybody seemed to know each other at the bar, and you go there, have a drink, and then head on out to dinner. Very pretty.
Yeah, very pretty. So
not a college vibe, but definitely worth going to.
Yeah, it's a little bit older scale. Not to say that it's like older scale, but it's a little bit more refined. A little bit more refined.
They both do tastings, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know for sure that the Moonrise, right? What is it? The Moonrise, they do a full tasting. And you can you can walk in the back there, right? They have like all of their bourbons and stuff like that. So they have
and I think so do that in advance if you want to do tastings with both of them. Do that in advance. You will have their socials and contact information in the captions below and the description. So make sure you contact them. Whenever you're in town to book those tastings. I think it's great to even like do for celebrations. Like let's say it's a birthday party or you're there and you want to have like I don't know an exclusive celebration in Northern Georgia for some odd reason. You should book with them because they have just like the place itself is like inviting, right?
They're both beautiful.
Yeah, they're both beautiful places in their own way, and the alcohol is just phenomenal. So to do some sort of celebration there, we highly recommend it. And then
I do want to add something though. The Moonrise Distillery actually has a membership. They have different tiers. And just to give you an example of it, I thought it was a great deal. We knew somebody that had it. But if you want it for you personally, for the whole year, it was like roughly like $500, but it came with a bottle. They do a bourbon a month. Like it's, I guess like the one that they feature. So you get a bottle of your choice. You also have like a tab there with special drinks. Every couple months, they give you like a little bar tab for being a member. So if you are interested in that, that's a great deal. Especially we plan on going there quite often.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. That was great. And yeah, I mean, if I lived there, I think I would definitely be part of that membership. That and maybe a gym. I gotta think about it. So please make sure to check out these two places in Northern Georgia. So that's our spirit of the week, highlighting the Old No Beverage Company in Mountain City, Georgia, and Moonrise Distillery in Clayton. So please make sure to check out those two establishments when you're there. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up and we'll give you a lot of more information or maybe even connect you with the owners and so you could get a little bit more insight.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you ready? Because segment 3, this is our first gem of Northern Georgia. I think you should take this one away because it was your experience.
Okay. So while the boys were hiking the Appalachian Trail, myself, my daughters, my best friend and her daughter, we headed over to Southern Cross Ranch, which is very cute. It's a horse ranch, and they have 150 horses, 200 acres, and it's very spread out. So it is a bed and breakfast, but it also is a place where if you wanted to just go and spend the day there and ride the horses, that is a possibility as well. But I just want to give you a little bit of our experience. We stayed there for 2 nights. With staying there, you get 2 rides a day. And the cooks are there. Everybody's there. It's these little suites. We stayed in a beautiful little suite. We had a front veranda. So you get there. The first meal is at 8 a.m. They ring the little bell like they would in a ranch. You head on down, and it is your Southern comfort breakfast. We're talking about biscuits, gravy, fruit, eggs, sausage. I mean, it was amazing. And then at 9:15, you have to head on down to the ranches where the horses are. So we rode bikes that are available on the ranch. We rode them down, and then they suit you to the horse of your personality. So I'm not an expert rider. However, my friend is, so they gave her a great horse. And then for me and my daughters, they gave us something that was a little bit more low key for our horses. And you get your horse, they give you the lead. So you actually have to go into where your horse is located. You get your horse, you bring it on over, you brush the horse down yourself. You have to saddle your horse yourself. And then once all of that is done, you take your horse, you head on over, and they have all this land that you can go, trails, pastures, look through these forests to ride your horse. You have 2 hours to ride your horse. It's amazing. They have ponds. They have a beautiful pasture where other horses are. And inside the trails, there's deer crossing over and running around while you're riding your horse. And then when you're done, you just kind of get off your horse and, clean your horse down and bring it on over back to its where they're keeping the horses. Once again, they have lunch at 1 p.m. And then when you are ready, you head on down at 2:15, and it's the same thing. You get the 2 hours. But at the end of the day, this time you have to hose down your horse. And then that's it. They serve dinner again at 6. All of that is included. And it was amazing, completely amazing. We had such a great time. My girls were so confident riding around their horses.
Let me ask you, because it does say there that it's for all skill levels, right? So
when they asked me, hey, how are you a rider? I ride, but I'm not a rider. I haven't ridden a horse in over a year. So they gave me a horse compatible to me and my skills. However, my girlfriend and her daughter do ride. They ride often. So they gave them a horse that had a little bit of more of oomph in their step. And so that was great because then my friend was the one that lead the other horses through the forest. I will say my daughter didn't like her horse because she was a little too slow, the horse. So she did swap out the horse for more of a horse that had a little bit more spark. And it was perfect. I mean, it was great. We were able to gallop and trot through the forest. And the kids were riding bike on the land. And it's just great. They switch out the horses every 2 weeks. So they get 2-week vacation, 2 weeks they get ridden. And what's great is that you can walk out into the pasture with the other horses that are not working that week. There's donkeys. I mean, there's deer.
Well, I love the donkey. Okay, I'm going to put this as B-roll, but for whoever's watching, but there's a donkey there that is like a dog. Like I got video from my wife whenever I got reception in the middle of the mountain. I saw this donkey just rolling around like a dog, and I was like, that is the cutest freaking thing. Like, that's something I would own. I would own a donkey.
After we get rid of our dogs.
Yes, have to.
But it was great. And let's say you want to go as a family and somebody in the family does not ride, they don't have to pay for the all-inclusive package. So that's the great thing about this ranch. And they have a pool, there's downtime, and there's a town, really cute, historic town called Madison, that if you don't want to have lunch, breakfast, or dinner there at the ranch for about 15-minute drive, you're in that little old town, which my friend and I did. We had a really cute little pizza and salad one afternoon. So all of that's available to you. But it's a good disconnect because I, too, barely had some reception at times. And it was a great disconnect for the kids.
Yeah, definitely.
The
kids were happy. The girls were
connected. I mean, you're literally in the pool, you're in the country, you're riding horses, and it was just a really great time. The weather again was amazing. It did rain, but it didn't interfere with our riding.
By the way, that's another great thing that you brought up, that it rained and they were scheduled to go riding, but the owners of this amazing establishment pretty much gave us the credit for, to come back and ride again. In a year. So again, the owners there are phenomenal. They work with you. It's just like we met them briefly when I had to drop off your car keys.
Everybody there, everybody was amazing.
Everybody was amazing. It's again true Southern hospitality. Everybody felt welcome. My kids felt happy. They weren't connected. So honestly, the Southern Cross Ranch, kudos to you. You are a little paradise in northern Georgia.
Yes. I'm looking forward to going back.
Yeah, 100%. We do recommend book early during peak seasons because it is going to get...
It was busy when we were there. I think I don't want to say how many rooms. I would say maybe there's 10 rooms. But besides the 10 rooms, there are people that are not staying at the ranch that do come in just to ride the horses. Yeah. So we were on the trail sometimes with like 10 to 15 people. Yeah.
So book early. And again, it's great to unplug, and it's just a nature getaway. So don't expect to be entertained constantly with certain things and tours and all that. No, this is for you to have that country living, with a horse, be in contact with nature and animals. And just, again, if you want more information, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to give more in detail, especially Shannon. She lived it.
And what's great is that once you've done your 1 hour with somebody from the ranch, you're free to go on that horse from there on after. Or if you want to stay with somebody, you can as well. So we only did that 1 hour, and then all the other rides that we were just our group.
Yeah. So definitely 5, right? Like a 5-star.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I mean,
Great food, had a
experience
game room. It was great. It really was.
So kudos. That's our gem number 1, Southern
Cross.
Guest Ranch. Yeah.
All right, let's go to hidden number 2.
Gem number 2.
Hidden gem number 2. Helen, Georgia.
Yeah, we spoke about it briefly. Sorry.
Yeah.
So what's great about there is obviously because in 1969 they ate those mushrooms and they made this into like a Bavarian German town. You're able to again have Southern barbecue, but also with German food there as well. They have a little tavern called the Troll Tavern, which is like it's like their go-to tavern
it's on the creek there.
Yeah, in the creek. They have pastries and in Hoffer's Bakery. We do recommend you go from between spring and fall. That's the best time.
Busy. We'll tell you that.
Very busy, and they actually celebrate Oktoberfest there. So in the fall, so highly recommend that you book your accommodations way in advance before Oktoberfest, because that if you want to have Oktoberfest in the States, I'm just saying, I think that's the place to do it because you can't get any more German, or maybe in California.
Going over the ponds.
Yes, 100%. But there's tubing there. There's so much like outdoor activities.
Tubing.
Yeah, the tubing to me was fantastic.
Yeah, so we went tubing, and you could have done like a short tubing or the longer. Of course, we did the longer one. It was great. Of course, there is a little bumps, and you can connect yourself to somebody else. And it was roughly around 2 hours, I have to say, that
it was a good workout.
It was a good workout. I would like to say this. While we were tubing, there are little cabins all around the river that if you want to book as a family, you totally can. So that's something that you can do.
And they were cute. They were
very cute. With balconies overlooking the Helen River, and you see everybody tubing and going down
the Chattahoochee River.
Is it called the Chattahoochee?
It's the Chattahoochee.
Oh, okay, Chattahoochee.
You tube on the Chattahoochee.
You tube on the Chattahoochee. Isn't that little Chattahoochee is the tiles like on the pool, like the little Chattahoochee?
That's not Chattahoochee.
Oh, yes. We're going to Google it.
I'm not going to Google that because God knows what I'm going to find when I Google Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee.
Well, yes, that tubing was great. As a matter of fact, our friend Eddie brought his 100-pound dog.
Oh, yes. You can bring the dogs to the tube. They get their own tube.
Yeah, well, if they're big enough.
Right.
Because I don't think you would put Bronx and
my dog would be on my lap.
100%. It's an 8-pounder versus a 100-pounder. But it was super cute seeing, the dog part of the whole experience. And again, they're very dog friendly. They're just friendly overall. So we highly recommend the tubing. It's so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, I could have gone a little bit longer, believe it or not.
Yeah, it was very relaxing, yet...
It was not relaxed. No, they were.
Because they give you sticks.
Attached to him.
They give you sticks, and then you have to
It's one stick. You're not skiing.
No, but I got your stick, and I got my stick, and I went,
You didn't need to do that. Only if you're heavy and you get stuck on a rock, then you need to do that.
Yes.
All right, let's go to gem number 3, our Appalachian Trail.
Yes.
That's your gem.
Yes.
Why don't you take the lead?
Appalachian Trail. Now listen, this is not for the weak of heart. This is not for the hikers that say, oh, I want to put a nice little light backpack and just float around from tree to tree. No, that's not what this is. Appalachian Trail is real deal. I got to thank my boy Eddie for bringing me along. Challenging me. I'm a little overweight, a little out of shape, and I don't recommend you do that in such conditions. I recommend you do train. But we did do a great hike. We did roughly about, I think, 16 to 18 miles.
But even though it doesn't sound like a lot of miles in the days that they went, they were going straight up.
Yeah, there was a day that was day one was just going up. So it was close to 6 miles of just straight up. Which again, if you're out of shape and not in the best condition. It was a little challenging, but we roughed it. We roughed it.
It was raining.
Yeah,
a little bit where we were, but they were a little bit more north than the girls, and they were in the rain.
We got lucky because we stopped at a shed a shelter that's along in the path. And what's great is what's great about the Appalachian Trail is that you have markers for everything. Like here's water, fresh water resource. Here's a shelter. So we stopped at the shelter, and it was raining really nicely. And what I mean by nicely is that I just literally sat there with my whiskey and just listened to the water come down. And it was one of the most magical moments, and disgusting too, because it's 3 men smelly.
You brought whiskey on the trail?
Yes, I did.
I had no idea.
Yes, I did. I brought it. I had to. I had to for my nerves, but the whiskey went away in the first night. It was I didn't have whiskey the second or third night, but it was great. It was just magical listening. I did finally go to the bathroom outside in the trees.
No, I don't think nobody wants to hear about.
Nobody wants to hear that. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, we had to put up our food up in the line so no animals could come and get it.
They did have visitors though.
We did, not that night though. Not the first night that it was raining. The second night that we went and we stopped at the second shelter. Now we had an option here, right? It wasn't raining. It was actually a beautiful camp area, beautiful with the shelter, and it was open, and you were in the middle of all these trees. It was gorgeous camp shelter area. But then I was like, okay, are we gonna pitch a tent? What are we doing here? And then we were like, no, we were exhausted. So we're like, no, forget it. Let's just stay in this beautiful shelter with a loft on the top. Well, in the loft is home to many, many of species of animals, primarily rats. And unfortunately,
mice. They're little mice.
To me, I don't care if it's a mice or a rat. They're all rats. They're all nasty and not cool. So basically, yes, I basically slept with a rat. It was on my pillow in my sleeping bag. I had to wake up. So needless to say, I was up at 3 a.m. Already packed and ready to go hit the trail because I was not feeling the sleeping with the rat situation. But yeah, that was my experience. It doesn't sound very polished, and it wasn't, but it was a hell of an experience. Because it made you hurt, but it made you appreciate beauty, nature, and really disconnect and just kind of. I got very primitive, and sometimes you need to get primitive to kind of come back up. Just some interesting facts about the Appalachian Trail. It does start in Springer Mountain, Georgia, and it does span about 2,198 miles to Maine. The section in Georgia, it does include 79 rugged miles through the Blue Ridge Mountains. Which is pretty cool. Blue Ridge are beautiful. Popular spots are obviously Blood Mountain and Neal Gap. The trail. So I want to talk about the trail angels, right? So there are trail angels.
Cute. I had never heard about that.
Yeah. So trail angels basically are volunteers.
Trail angels.
Angels. What did I say?
You're mumbling.
Sorry. It's
mumble.
It's the trail angels. They're volunteers who assist hikers
that have nothing better to do all day.
No, they're nice people. Why do you see? Where are you gonna knock them down?
I just find it strange.
It's not strange. Hey, you go. You're hiking.
Haven't even finished what they do yet.
Okay, well, because you don't let me talk. So basically, the trail angels. Could I finish?
These are people that have that on their own free will decided that they're gonna head on over to a different part of the Appalachian Trail, and they are going to have water or sandwiches or anything that
the hikers need.
That the hikers would need. And they just sit there and they wait for people.
It's not just sit there because there's hikers that go in and out. So
hikers, where did you see?
There was hikers that, for example, I had a whole battery pack for you to charge your electronics. The guy offered to make us grilled cheese sandwiches. He had a thing of water so you could refill your water. It was great medicine if you guys are injured. Or
they probably had that moonshine, and they were seeing.
I wish they had moonshine.
I just find it strange.
I don't find it strange. So there are some very, very, very famous ones. Two I'm going to mention is Miss Janet and the Cookie Lady. Apparently bakes cookies for.
They still do this?
Yeah, they still do this, and they're very well known. And there's a bunch of Instagram handles that talk about these trail angels. So
Upper tone.
and copper tongue. I didn't want to talk about copper tongue.
Why?
Okay, we'll talk about that later. So trail angels, thank you very much. We love you. So that was one of the great things about hiking Appalachian. And now I'm just gonna give you some real crazy facts about the AT. Okay, because obviously I go down a wormhole when I go hike somewhere, and because I get scared. Like what? So basically,
Is that really true?
yes, all this is true.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Outrageous fact number 1 about the Appalachian Trail: the fastest through hike took only 41 days by Carol Sabat in 2018.
I just want to reiterate this. This is from Georgia to Maine. Normally, average takes 6 months, and this person did it in 41 days.
But pretty much almost, like a month and 10 days, 11 days? That's crazy.
That is.
So there have been trailside murders that have occurred. No trail angel has been suspected. So just letting you know that.
Oh, I wouldn't even have thought that. Oh my God, that's true.
Yeah.
Trail angels,
Just saying.
murderers.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't eat that grilled cheese sandwich.
So there was, and then so outrageous fact number 3. Listen to this. Grandma Gatewood, she hiked solo at 67 with no gear.
That's a myth.
No, that's not a myth. That's a fact.
Is she still alive?
She died in the trail. No, I'm playing that. Joke. Bad joke. She didn't die. She survived, obviously, but 67 with no gear. I barely survived with a shit ton of gear, and I'm not 67.
So June 21st is Hike Naked Day. So if you're near a trail, go on and get down to your birthday suits and hike that trail on June 21st. It's right around the corner.
Well, this is going to air after June 21st.
So
but
it just passed.
But we're shooting on June 20th. So tomorrow, people are going to be hiking naked in the Appalachian Trail.
Look at that.
Yeah. And then
Little Willy.
You want to try the next one? The next one is pretty good.
Wrong Way Ray hiked the trail backward. Stop it. These are stupid.
No, it's not stupid.
Why would he do that?
Because he's backward Ray or wrong way Ray. Shannon, there's people that do extraordinary things that you're not, you have to be open-minded to. Okay, did you know that in Damascus, Virginia is where they split the trail?
Where does it go?
To Maine's. Supposedly, another outrageous AT fact, there's haunted shelters.
Love that.
Yeah, and I experienced it. The ghost of Rat Pack.
Oh my God.
That little fricker thing scared the shit out of me.
Oh, this hiker, he was blind and he completed it with his guided dog. So shout out to Bill Irving.
Yeah, and his dog. Not shout out to him, to his dog.
His dog.
I'm going to look, hey, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a scar here and I could see, okay? I'm not blind, all right? And I tripped and I flew headfirst going downhill. So
on his last day.
On my last day, actually, a few
minutes,
I think it was 0.3 miles to the exit,
to where we were picking him up,
and I destroyed myself. So that kudos to blind hiker Bill Irwin and his guide dog, because there's a lot of it's rocks. I think Eddie told me something. It's the trail of AT is roots and rocks.
Roots and rocks.
And so it's a little dangerous.
So how many calories do you burn up in a day if you're hiking on the trail?
I burned about 3,000 calories.
Well, here it says that people actually can burn up to 6,000. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then unique trail names, by the way. Stank.
Which that's how we picked up the boys, because they were stank.
Blister Queen.
Ew.
Yeah. Those are some unique trail names.
Those
I got my trail name, Keys.
Story for another time.
Yeah, for another time. So little tips for you guys if you guys are interested in hiking the AT Trail. Perfect day for hikers, section hikers, and these. It's perfect for day hikers,
like a quick
section hikers, and those do the whole list. So meaning that you could do the AT and the person or the type of hiker you are. Obviously, I am a section hiker. Like I could do one little section of it for 2 or 3 days. I don't think I could go beyond maybe 4 days. I think that's where I stop and say I need a massage. But yeah, it's great to break it up that way. There is ask about support packages for gear transport and lodging. So there are services where they could transfer your gear. That way you don't have to lug it around and all that
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, and as Eddie also told me too, that if you are a solo traveler and you want to do this hike, there are transportation services that pick you up at the trailheads where they could take you back to your car. So if you leave your car at one trailhead and you finish 4 days in another one, there is transportation services to bring you back to your vehicle.
Very cool. North Georgia Trail sections are great for introduction to long distance hiking.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah, because according to some experts, aka my friend Eddie, the North Carolina is pretty. He said, he goes, if you want to do North Carolina, which I kind of do, to be honest, he said that's a minimum of 7 days, 7 to 10 days, because there is a section there where if you go in, it's about 60 to 70 miles to get out.
There is no picking up.
Yeah, so it's a little daunting. But if you guys want to know more about it, or if you want some more insight on what section to do, what gear to bring, please make sure to hit us up, send us a comment, message, DM us, and we'll be more than happy to provide that information.
And this was perfect. We went as 2 families, but we split up. Boys went one way, the girls went the other. And then at the end, we all kind of came together and we did all the fun family stuff together. So this was a great week in Georgia.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Great.
And it was simple, but yet it was awesome. We were able to, like you said, have boys, girls trips, and then family trip all in one. And we disconnected. We disconnected. So that's it. This is our episode. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I had fun.
You had fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do I look like the Cuban Rip?
Yes. Yes, Cuban Rip.
Okay. I sense a little lying there, but that's fine. I'll take it. You're always going to be my
Beth.
You're my best. Live the best.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
And thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative. Please, again, subscribe, follow, DM us, message us. Please be part of our community, and remember everything that you've spoken about.
We would love to help you get this trip if you wanted to do for your family.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, we could book it.
All right.
Ciao, Bacalao. Bye. Why don't you like that?
Stupid.